Speaker, and it's a great pleasure to serve under your chairmanship this afternoon. And I want to congratulate my right honourable friend, the member for Wickham, in bringing forward this very important debate, and to congratulate him on being such a champion on this issue, because my inbox and my surgeries have been inundated with people. I represent Aberdeen South. Aberdeen is the energy capital of Europe. It is the hub of our oil and gas industry. And many who worked in oil and gas were actively encouraged by their companies to get involved with such schemes, actively encouraged to set up a personal limited company and to get off the company books. Many did so for many years. Many felt assured that they were being advised by chartered accountants and tax advisors. All was above board. It was their belief that their professional accountant could not advise anything illegal, otherwise their chartered status would be revoked.
Sorry, on that, just very briefly.
Of course, yes.
Of course, it's a failure of successive governments, but in 2011 the government did actually look at this, didn't come up with a definitive answer, and as a result these schemes proliferated.
I thank my honourable friend for making the intervention, and his point is heard. You're absolutely right, and I couldn't agree with you more. For many, this option seemed to be clearly the obvious choice. And it's the retrospective nature of this decision that is causing great distress. As has been said already in this debate, there is a huge human cost. And I want to take this opportunity to share with the Minister and members here the stories of my constituents. To quote from one, "It's been going on for a few years now and taking its toll on my family, as we are unsure where we'll get the money to pay any outstanding tax. Their bullying tactics in getting you to sign up to pay, and the fact that they demand you to reach a settlement with them, even though we have done everything they have asked and they've still not come back with settlement figures. Not only that, they are saying even if you settle or pay back the loans, there's a strong possibility it won't end there. So we go back to their scaremongering tactics that they've deployed in order for you to pay up front and ask questions later. It's a total unjust for our future as being a democratic society." Another constituent said, "I like to think I understood the risk I was taking and I had every confidence in the scheme I was using. I did not entertain the prospect that the government would be prepared to violate the core principle of the rule of legal certainty by introducing retrospective legislation going back 20 years. This weekend, I have received my settlement offer under HMRC's settlement offer, and I'm currently in the process of deciding whether or not to accept their terms. Whilst I sincerely would like to settle and move on, I am deeply concerned that their CLSO2 is extremely unfair and punitive." Yes, of course.
Very good gentleman who's making such a powerful point. Does he agree with me that the fundamental unfairness that many of us feel is that HMRC are going after the easiest targets, namely the individuals, rather than those who may or may not be most culpable?
Thank you very much for your intervention, for my honourable friend's intervention. Again, I couldn't agree with him more. It seems to be easy pickings for HMRC. They're not going after those who truly are culpable, and that's why we're seeing such great distress expressed in our surgeries. The whole sorry affair has imposed life-changing levels of stress on both me and my family, especially with the backdrop of the recent downturn in the oil and gas industry, where I have been out of work for about 50% of the past 2 years. This is a complicated situation. However, fundamentally, HMRC have closed down the opportunity to use these loan schemes. They accept it's a positive move to end ambiguity. But another constituent said that the respective nature of this legislation is going to place a large number of contractors under extreme financial duress, bearing in mind that it's HMRC's failure to sort this situation out sooner. And another constituent, and this is the last example I'll give, emailed me to say that he was emailed by a company stating that he could retain 78 to 80% of his salary legally. The scheme was QC approved, and Top Tax Council advised it was sound. I learnt during the latter part of last week that my retrospective tax charge is very likely to exceed 230,000. As for HMRC's so-called impact assessment, apparently finding that such sums would lead to few, if any, issues for those being expected to pay such. I can only comment that they must assume that we are all multimillionaires. Of course, they know full well that we aren't. It's very daunting when the full weight of government makes demands with threats of the law abiding brought to bear when, according to the law, no law has been broken. I doubt very much that I can simply ignore threats, be taken to court and stand there and say, thus individuals are placed in the position of hiring lawyers with costs running into six figures, and this will be beyond the means of most, if not all of us. This particular constituent says that he is single, that he's never had a second income from a partner to assist with the costs of living, and he is facing serious financial distress. So, Mr Walker, it's right that we condemn those that sold on such schemes and encourage such schemes. It's deeply unfair that we seek to do this retrospectively. It absolutely violates the core principles of the rule of law, and I couldn't agree more with colleagues who have already expressed that frustration. I think that this particular measure is disgraceful. If I can go even further to say, I think it's dishonourable and it should be stopped.